When applying the Understanding by Design model, assignments represent concrete products that allow students to not only demonstrate understanding, but demonstrate understanding as it relates to a real-world problem or task. In other words, instruction is not just a matter of communicating concepts. It's about communicating how students can apply concepts in real-world settings. The assignment activity module in Moodle enables a teacher to communicate tasks, collect work, and provide grades and feedback. To add an assignment, click on the Add an Activity or Resource link. On the left-hand pane, you see the list of all the activities options, as well as the resources. And in this case, I want to select Assignment. And on the right-hand pane, you see a brief description to help you with your choices. It talks about what can be done with the assignment module, what students can submit, how teachers can provide feedback, and then there's an option for even more help. So help is always available. Select Add to add this activity. Enter an assignment name and a description. In this area, you can also include the detailed instructions for the assignment. But in this case, I'm going to attach a file that contains the detailed instructions. So I just need to put a brief description there. Display the description on course page. Yes, I want to select that so that the students always know exactly which assignment they're looking at. Now let's take a look at the availability options. And this is to the availability for submissions. I want it enabled, and I want it enabled for today. I'm going to make it 12 noon. I don't want to do anything with due date because the cutoff date will be just fine. I'm going to enable that. No submissions will be allowed after this date. Use the calendar to find 2 weeks from the initial date, and then the cutoff time would be just before midnight. So this is military time, and it goes in increments of 5 minutes, so 23:55. And yes, I do want the description to always show. Scroll down further and look at the submission types. Online text, so that means they'll be able to submit their submission directly into a text editor, attach a file, and submission comments. Let me look at exactly what that means. Students can leave comments on their own submission. I don't think I need that option, but I do want them to have the option to submit a file, but also submit some additional information in a text editor. The maximum number of uploaded files will be 1. They are only allowed 1 attempt. And the maximum size of 20 megabytes should be fine if they need to include some types of digital media. Let's look at feedback types. I want to be able to make comments on their submissions and possibly add an additional file. So let me take a look at that option. Teachers will be able to upload files with feedback, marked up student submissions, documents with comments, or spoken audio feedback. So yes, that is a good selection for the feedback type. submission settings. I do want to require students to click a submit button. I don't want to require them to accept a submission statement. I think the submit button makes it formal enough so that they understand that the learning management system is recording the time that they submitted the assignment. I'm not doing anything with groups, so I don't need to look at those settings. Let's see what's going on with notifications. Notify graders about submissions. I'm going to select yes to that because since there's a window of time that the students can submit their assignment, those that submit earlier, I can grade earlier instead of having all of the papers come in at once. So that's good. We don't have anything to do with late submissions because after the cutoff point, they won't be allowed to submit any longer. As far as grade, select a grade point, and I'm going to select 25. A grading method. Look at some of the choices. I'm going to be using a rubric, but it hasn't been uploaded using the learning management system. So I'm going to select simple direct grading. I'm not going to assign it to a category because I haven't placed any categories in my grade book. A category would be like just to have a separate category for assignments and a separate category for discussions. And blind marking, I don't want to do anything with that at this time. Common module settings. I do definitely want it to be visible. Nothing to do with groups again. And let's just look and see what the ID number is all about. Setting an ID number provides a way of identifying the activity for grade calculation purposes. So yes, I definitely want to set an ID number. I'm going to abbreviate assignments and enter a number. Okay, and take a look at the options for restriction. I do want to allow access from a certain point, so I'm going to enable that. Because I set the actual submission time on this date, probably access would have been allowed 2 weeks prior or 1 week prior. I'm just going to select this at noon. And I want to allow access until the final date, which will be the 25th. And again, basically just before midnight, 2300 hours. Okay, I don't want to do anything with any other grade conditions, but let's just kind of look at the options. I could say that students need to complete this assessment task, a previous assessment task, with at least 75% in order to be able to view this particular assignment, but I don't want to do that. So I select that to none. You can set conditions based upon particular students by entering their ID number. And then you have options for how you want the restricted information to appear. Grayed out so that they can at least see what the restriction is all about, or it can be hidden entirely from the course or grade book. Okay, and I want to save and display. And now I'm looking at the assignment from the instructor's perspective. So I see the name, I see the description, I see the students, I see, or the number of students, I see the drafts that have been submitted, I see the assignments that have been submitted, and I see the number of assignments that need grading. I can view the particular assignments by clicking on that link and going directly to the student's submissions, and then there's a submission status. Okay, I want to go back to the course page. And I can see where I have options to do different things, to move it, to update it, to copy it, to delete it, to hide it so that students can't see it yet. This is all from the instructor's perspective and the restriction dates. Now I want to scroll down here to the administration menu, and I want to switch roles because I want to look at this assignment from the student's perspective. Here's the assignment and the description. Students can click on the assignment, the title, the description, their submission status, their grading status, and the option to add a submission. When they click on that, they can enter information in here using the text editor, and they also can select to add a file from their computer files or from files that are stored on the course server. Okay, and then they would just go down and save changes. In this case, I'll cancel because I don't have anything to submit. And that's a look at assignments from the student's point of view, as well as setting up assignments from the instructor